Hello, today is Thursday, July 2nd, 2026. Here is your daily signal. Let's begin with the latest developments in global oil supply and the ongoing tensions in the Strait of Hormuz. According to Bloomberg, crude oil prices spiked as Iranian forces intercepted a commercial tanker, reigniting fears of supply disruption in this critical shipping lane. The Strait of Hormuz is a strategic choke point. About 20% of the world's oil passes through this narrow waterway, and recent years have seen intensifying geopolitical friction between Iran, the United States, and Gulf nations. These tensions have repeatedly rattled energy markets and left major oil producers and traders, including Saudi Arabia, Iran, and the UAE, heavily dependent on security in this region to export their crude. On July 2nd, Reuters reported a renewed military threat when Iranian forces seized a vessel, and that same day, Brent crude jumped 1.8% to close at $86.12 per barrel as traders weighed the risks of a broader conflict. The U.S. Department of Energy quickly issued guidance urging American refiners to secure alternative sources in anticipation of possible disruptions. In the near term, if these interruptions persist, energy prices could surge and refiners may scramble for supplies, leading to higher fuel costs in vulnerable regions. Looking ahead, energy importing countries could speed up efforts to diversify by signing more LNG deals and investing in renewables, while further escalation in the area risks triggering regional instability and broader supply shortages. Next, we turn to the booming AI infrastructure investment cycle and concerns about its resemblance to past speculative bubbles. Fortune highlights warnings from the Bank for International Settlements, which likens today's trillion-dollar AI spending spree to historic financial manias, such as the dot-com crash and railway mania. AI infrastructure includes the massive hardware and cloud resources that support large-scale artificial intelligence computations, with NVIDIA and Microsoft among early leaders. Spurred by soaring demand for compute power, massive sums have flooded into data centers, chip manufacturing, and custom AI platforms since 2023, echoing the pattern of innovation, rapid investment, and potential market corrections seen during both the 1840s railway boom and the fiber optic bubble of the 1990s. Key industry players aren't slowing down. On July 1st, NVIDIA revealed it's doubling its data center footprint for the coming year, and Microsoft announced a $10 billion investment in new AI infrastructure across North America and Europe. OpenAI has also struck fresh agreements to lock in priority cloud access through 2027. In the short term, this turbocharged build-out risks shortages of resources, rising chip prices, and overheated tech valuations. Should capacity race ahead of actual AI demand, markets could see a painful correction reminiscent of previous tech busts. Over the medium term, whoever owns the dominant infrastructure could tighten their grip on the market, making it tough for smaller firms, while the global race for AI capacity, led by the US and China, could escalate further and shape the next stage of technological competition. Finally, we examine the U.S. government's quantum computing roadmap and the ambitious goalposts set for 2028. New Scientist reports that Washington has accelerated its investment in quantum research, aiming to deliver a practical, error-corrected quantum computer within the next 2 years. These efforts build upon the National Quantum Initiative Act, a multi-billion-dollar program launched in 2018 to reinforce American leadership in quantum science and workforce skills. The National Science Foundation, Department of Energy, and NIST are central to these efforts, supporting everything from quantum hardware and algorithms to cybersecurity advances. On July 2nd, the White House released an updated roadmap emphasizing workforce development, and NIST launched a new quantum benchmarking consortium with IBM and Google. The Department of Energy, meanwhile, awarded $200 million in grants for advanced quantum algorithms across national labs. If federal milestones are hit, particularly for quantum fault tolerance and error correction, the U.S. could solidify its technological edge. In the near term, surging investment in quantum cybersecurity may prompt faster updates in digital infrastructure and encryption. Over time, public-private partnerships could speed up commercialization, with wide ripple effects for industries as varied as logistics, finance, and pharmaceuticals. However, as the U.S. moves forward, rival nations may ramp up their own quantum strategies, intensifying the global technology arms race. Now, onto the markets. European markets mostly traded lower, with Germany's EWG showing a 0.39% drop, while France and the UK declined further, France's EWQ retreating 1%. Spain was an exception, with EWP gaining 2.6% month-over-month, and Italy's EWI remained nearly flat. The Netherlands slipped sharply by nearly 3% on the day, while Belgium's EWK fell 1.3%. Australia edged down 1.3%, but China large-cap FXI rose 1.2% as Hong Kong's EWH managed a modest uptick. Japan's EWJ eased by 0.2%, while India's IND saw a slight day drop but recorded a positive monthly trend. Singapore and Indonesia posted small day gains, while Malaysia and Africa's ETFs lost ground. Saudi Arabia and UAE saw minor daily increases, and Qatar was fractionally positive. Israel slid nearly 0.1% day over day, and Kuwait was marginally down. Commodities were mixed. Gold prices advanced 0.6%, silver was up just 0.2%. U.S. oil fell sharply by almost 3%, while platinum gained over 1%. Corn and wheat posted solid daily gains near 1.2% and 1.7% respectively, but copper and uranium retreated. Favorites included Adobe jumping 2.9% and Microsoft up just over 3%. AMD dropped 6.9%, while Oracle lost 2.8%. Nvidia shed 1.25%, Amazon rose 1.4%, Alibaba advanced 2%, and JD climbed 3.3%. Intel saw a steep 9% fall, Apple was up by 1.7%, and Lowe ticked higher. The S&P 500 eased 0.13%, healthcare and finance sectors rose moderately, while semiconductors dropped over 6% and clean energy closed lower. That's it for today. You can find more news and details on our website. Goodbye.